Hey folks, Chuck Holton here coming to you from my farm in West Virginia. And I've been getting a lot of feedback or emails from people asking about a video that was made by Tulsi Gabbard that had to do with Ukraine. Now, Tulsi Gabbard is a former Democratic congressperson from Hawaii. Then she retired from politics in 2022, more or less, and has become kind of a commentator. She's got her own podcast and things like that. She also left the Democratic Party and became an independent. Now, look, I agree with Tulsi Gabbard on a whole range of issues, especially social ones. And so, she's also a veteran like me. And so I don't have anything personal against Tulsi Gabbard, but I wanted to just respond to the video that she put out. And this is not a gotcha on Tulsi Gabbard. It's just a clarification, because I want you to understand how insidious misinformation can be. And most of the time, all it takes is a 30-second Google search to disprove some of the things. If you hear something that makes you go like, huh? Then you can just look it up. And many times it's easy to disprove some of the things that are being said. But I want you to listen to the first 30 seconds of what Tulsi had to say in her video, and then I'll come back and talk about it.
Here is something that the political establishment and propaganda media don't want you to know. Ukraine's President Zelensky has just banned yet another political opposition party, one that questioned his legitimacy as president, and used Ukraine's Department of Justice to mandate the seizure of this party's members' assets. Now, this is just the latest of Zelensky's actions to do this sort of thing. He began banning major political opposition parties in 2022, when he also started banning TV channels that were associated with his political opponents.
Okay, so here she's talking about the fact that Zelensky banned a political party and has done so in the past as well. There's more nuance to it than that. First of all, these decisions to ban the political parties were not made by Zelensky personally himself. They were made by the Supreme Court, the judicial branch of the Ukrainian government, and they have so far banned 12 political parties, and they say that they have good reason for doing so because those political parties were heavily influenced by Russia. Now, I'm going to give you some information to help you understand what I mean by that. One of the parties, for example, that was banned by the government of Ukraine was called the Opposition Platform for Life, and it was Ukraine's biggest opposition party, but it was led by a guy named Viktor Medvedchuk. He's a pro-Moscow oligarch, and he had very close ties to Vladimir Putin. As a matter of fact, they say that Medvedchuk's daughter was the goddaughter of Vladimir Putin. He was her godfather. And last year, he was arrested in Ukraine and charged with treason against the country and put in prison. And so they say that political party has been passing along information to the Russian government. They've been agitating against the Ukrainian government and generally committing treasonous acts against the Ukrainian government. Now, whether or not that is true, that puts a little more nuance on what Tulsi Gabbard just said about banning political parties. She also talks about banning certain news agencies, and that is also true. They banned agencies like Russia Today and other Russian news agencies who were coming into Ukraine and were reporting things that would literally tell the Russian military things that they needed to know to more accurately bomb Ukraine. So, for example, when I was in Ukraine and a bomb fell or hit a building or something like that, if we went to the site of the bomb, we could film it. As press, we have a press card. We'd have to show that to the people that showed up, the first responders, and then we could film what was going on. But we were asked not to show that footage for at least 24 hours, because the last thing you want to do is to put up immediate live photographs of the damage and the first responders who are there trying to pull people out of the rubble, because that would let Russia say, aha, now there's a bunch of people standing around there, let's fire a double tap and kill some more people, or to say, oh, we missed the building we were actually aiming at, so we're going to fire again and try to hit our actual target once again. After 24 hours, then they've been able to mostly clear out the rubble or do whatever rescues they plan to do, or get people out of the building that likely was the intended target, and so it's not as dangerous. That's a very standard agreement that we make as journalists with the host countries of any place we go and report on wars. I had to do that in Afghanistan a lot. I had to do that in Iraq for the United States military. And of course, I'm glad to do so, because we don't want to tell bad people things they don't need to know. So the fact that they banned certain journalists who were putting out information that was beneficial to the Russian military is not in any way abnormal. Now, one thing that they have done is they have consolidated all of the news agencies in Ukraine under martial law and created one conglomerated news channel. And you can agree or disagree with their decision to do that. Their decision to do that had more to do with them being overwhelmed by requests, and it's much easier to let one journalist come in and do a ride along and then disseminate that information to everybody. And incidentally, that's exactly what Israel has been doing. Israel has also kicked out various news agencies like Al Jazeera from their country, and they have sort of aggregated the dissemination of news in order to make it easier for them and easier on their people. I personally don't agree with that method, but there's nothing that says it's illegal, and it doesn't mean that they are suspending democracy or anything like that. Now, let's listen to what she has to say next.
Zelensky's presidential term ended on May 20th. He canceled elections in the name of martial law, suspending Ukraine's constitution so that he could stay in power.
Now she makes the claim that Vladimir Zelensky, on his own, canceled the elections and suspended the constitution of Ukraine. Actually, nothing could be further from the truth. And this is one of those cases where literally a 30-second Google search would help you find the truth on this. Tulsi Gabbard either didn't bother to do that, or she is intentionally trying to make it look like Vladimir Zelensky is suspending the Constitution. The Constitution of Ukraine specifically prohibits holding elections during a state of emergency and explicitly stipulates that lawmakers should maintain their positions until a new parliament can be elected by all of the citizens of the country. Now, why is this important? Well, first of all, yes, Ukraine is still under a state of war. They're under martial law. And part of the reason that they suspended the elections, which were supposed to take place in May, is that there are about 20%, more or less, of the population of Ukraine would be unable to vote if they did hold elections, because they either live inside an occupied area of Ukraine, like the Donbass, or they live outside of Ukraine as refugees to this point. And so Vladimir Zelensky didn't necessarily want to suspend the election. I don't know if he wanted to or not, but the bottom line is he was forced to suspend the elections in accordance with the Constitution of Ukraine, not by suspending the Constitution of Ukraine.
Just stop for a moment and think, if we accept that excuse or criteria for suspending the Constitution and canceling elections, then we should presume that leaders in our own country and our own establishment media will also use this same excuse and rationale when they suspend our Constitution and our elections, since we too are at war with Russia and China.
And now Tulsi does something that I think is probably the most disingenuous thing that I've seen from her ever, and that is she engages in a real non sequitur, which is to say that Ukraine is doing these things which we would consider to be bad, and if understood the way she's wanting you to understand them, although her she's wanting you to understand them in a way that's not actually true. But Ukraine is doing these things. Therefore, that will be used as an excuse for the United States to do these things. And that doesn't follow. Look, the fact that Ukraine is engaged in a literal fight for its survival as a country right now, and that is not even a debatable fact. It is definitely fighting for its survival as a nation. And so they are looking at an existential threat from Russia. And the United States is not. She makes the comment that the United States is also at war because we are supporting Ukraine in their fight, because we're supporting perhaps Israel in their fight. But the United States is not at a kinetic war like Ukraine is. We are not sending our soldiers off and losing 100 of them every day in battle. We're not engaged in a kinetic fight directly with any of our enemies. Well, you could say the Houthis. We are dropping bombs on them, but we don't have troops on the ground. And so Ukraine is. Now, whether or not you believe that Joe Biden would happily suspend the Constitution or Donald Trump would happily suspend the Constitution of the United States, the very fact that Ukraine is fighting for its life, fighting for survival, it doesn't mean that the United States is. And if the United States is facing an existential threat, that threat is likely more from within than from without. So those two things do not follow. She's trying to connect those two things together in order to scare you, and that is the purpose of misinformation. And so I wanted to give some context to that so you'd have a little better understanding of what's going on. Hope that helped. I would recommend that you go and check out the video that I posted today. I linked to a video from my friend Ryan Macbeth on chuckholton.com, where he does the same kind of bringing out the misinformation from Colonel McGregor with his interview that he had with Tucker Carlson several months ago, and just goes point by point and absolutely demolishes Colonel McGregor's arguments. And it's very, very worth watching if you want to really understand the kind of misinformation that's being put out about Ukraine right now and how easy it is for us to be influenced by that misinformation. All right, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching. God bless you. Take care.